clipboard, and I guess I kind of looked whatever, but I was just going to watch this award show. Out comes Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live. You know Colin Jost?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Scarlett Johansson's husband.
Exactly. Yeah, that guy. So yeah. So I forget what happened. I think I just nodded at him because I was like, oh, it's Colin Jost. Hi, hey. And then he stopped, looked me in the eyes, and was like, oh, hey, I got to go, but are you going to that thing later on? Am I going to see you there? And I was like, yeah, I'll see you there. And he's like, all right, man, take it easy.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Oh, give me a second. Yes, continue.
Nice. I hit record so I didn't forget because that's happened before.
I've done it. No, I've done it too. I've done it, or I've done it where I forgot to record because I sometimes do my audio separate.
Oh, yeah. That can get tricky too.
Yeah.
But how you been, man?
Good. You've been busy. I've been super busy, but no complaints.
I feel you. Yeah.
It's been nuts.
I saw you're on like Watch Mojo and stuff now too, and then
have we started the thing? Is this the thing?
I don't know. Yeah, sure. This is the thing.
Wait a second. We opened it already?
I'll just cut into it whenever. Yeah. I just record and then we just start hanging and chatting.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Watch
the Johnny
Mojo.
Rogers show, so it's like whatever I want to do.
What's the format?
That's the format.
I'm so used to hosting my thing, so it's so weird being a guest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're just hanging, man.
Yeah. I want to say, sorry, before you get into your questions, I'm noticing what's on the left side of you. What I'm looking at is Johnny Carson. What is that? Is that a poster? Is that a vinyl? What is that?
This here? Yeah.
I will fight you for that. What is that? That's amazing.
For this? Oh,
I love Johnny Carson.
Dude, you should come over. I think I have another Johnny Carson. I wonder where it is. Yeah, I as soon as I got a record player, I became obsessed with just like finding record stores in Toronto and the GTA. And then I would always ask them. Oh, I got lots, man. I got Red Fox.
Those are my guys. I love some old school.
Lenny Bruce. A couple Red Fox, a Rodney Dangerfield. I got an old school.
You got a Steve Martin. That's awesome.
Howie Mandel down here.
Oh no!
Where he's got the plastic glove over his head. Yeah, but I'd go into record stores and just ask them where the comedy section was, and it was always in like a basket underneath the thing. It was never, but it's great because it's like
I named my dog Carson after Johnny Carson.
Oh, no way. Yeah, I think that is just like a mashup. It's a special 2-record set of just like all of these guests that he had on. That's awesome. Like George Carlin's on it, Groucho Marx, Bette Midler, Judy Garland, Lenny Bruce.
Yeah, no, I'm a talk show slut. Like anything I see, like late night talk show, like I'm in.
Yeah. I feel you, dude. I remember like there was a time when it was like just back to back, like amazing talk shows, like where you could watch Jon Stewart and The Daily Show, and then it was like Stephen Colbert right after, and then there was it was like Jay Leno, and then Conan, and then there was just like it was just like late night heaven if you wanted to watch late night at that time before the internet was really like kind of popping off with podcasts and whatnot.
Yeah, you're right. It changed so much. Like now,
changed a lot. Yeah.
Like honestly, like back in the day, like Letterman, I've never missed an episode, even the reruns. Like I was like David Letterman, 11:30, my guy, I'll watch it. Conan O'Brien, love me some Conan O'Brien. There was a guy named Craig Kilborn. He did the Late Show before.
Craig Kilborn, yeah.
Yeah, I love Craig Kilborn. He's like my spirit animal. He only did it for a couple of years, but so great. But yeah, now it's funny because I still enjoy that sense of humor, and like it's still funny to me. And like Jimmy Fallon's okay, like it's very playful, but I'll watch the highlights. Like I won't actually tune into the actual show. Like Colbert,
that's what the YouTube clips are good for. Yeah.
It's changed. It's changed that whole late night genre. Now
I'll watch Bill Maher that way, and even like Graham Norton. Like I really like the Graham Norton show, but I'm like I'm gonna watch the clips.
I've never watched an episode, but I watch this. They show up in my feed.
Oh my god,
they show up in my feed, and they're like the funniest
They're so good. Watch I think they have like full episodes like on YouTube even that you can watch. There's one where I think it's Mark Wahlberg. He just gets like pissed drunk.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're all like drinking and
they're just feeding them alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's just some people, you watch some celebrities just like slurring their way through questions and you're just like, oh God, I don't know if this is good or what, but like.
Well, back on like the Carson days,
Yeah.
they're smoking and drinking. Like, yeah, it was just like, it was great.
Fucking Wild West of that time, man. I always like, okay, so I do have a bit of a structure for the podcast. I like to base it around a word. So I always ask the guests, like, if you
what's my word?
No, you get to choose the word. Here's the thing is I want you to pick a word that kind of describes something that's been on your mind a lot lately. You can take your time with it too.
Oh, so I get to choose
the
word. So it's kind of like
choose the word.
Kind of like Sesame Street. This episode is brought to you by, instead of a letter, it's the word. Okay, well, I'll think about it. I think my word is I want to say opportunity or like opportunistic, but that's kind of strange, isn't it? Like, I think seizing the moment. What's the word I'm looking for? Carpe Diem, like seizing the moment.
YOLO.
Hey, don't you have a YOLO tattoo?
I do.
Is that real? Yeah. I like it.
Me too.
I was on a Greyhound bus once before Greyhound disappeared, and a woman
cut that dude's head off. I mean, it was pretty much.
Oh my God! Don't even had nightmares. But yeah, no, there's a girl smoking in the bathroom. But I'll never forget, they kicked her out, but she was wearing a full-on jumpsuit, but it just said YOLO, like all the way down her leg. YOLO, smoking in the bathroom.
Fuck.
Got kicked out.
What a misuse of YOLO. No, but I get what you're saying. Like, what's another term for that? Like opportunity, perseverance. Well, we kind of maybe like explain more so the thought process of like why that's been on your mind lately. We can kind of.
Well, here's what's happened. So I've always been in the thought of, don't wait for opportunity, look for it, and seize it when you get the ball, run with it. And especially that came so true with the pandemic, with COVID, because I don't know if you know, but I'm a film critic for CFRA in Ottawa. So I watch all these movies, and I started doing stuff with CTV Ottawa. And then CTV National, the news 24-hour news channel.
Wow.
I would go on.
Congrats, by the way.
Yeah. So I've been, so it was like, it was really great. And I would go on, and I was also doing like pop culture commentaries and all this crazy stuff. Like, and I was actually going in studios, right? So it was Fridays. Fridays was my media day. I would usually get a haircut. Who am I kidding? First, make myself look good. And then I would go to like the CTV News Channel studios, record this live hit. You're in a room, you had the backdrop, which was like the Parliament building. It was up high in this building. You got people doing your makeup and giving you water, and you feel special, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as that was done, I would run to the 87 George Street CTV Ottawa station, where I did the CTV News at 5, recording in studio with their host. And as soon as that was done, I would go upstairs to the radio station CFRA when I would do my movie talk. So Fridays,
getting your spots in, man. That's a busy day.
Yeah. Well, Fridays were nuts, and I loved it. I love this stuff. Sometimes I'd also do the morning show on CTV, but that's a whole other thing. That's not regular. But anyways, so the COVID hits. No in-person stuff, right? And the news cycle, they don't want to. There's no real movies to talk about, so it's all COVID. So I was doing all this crazy stuff, and like I was building momentum, and there was actually like an opportunity that I could have gotten. Well, I was offered it, that kind of dissipated with COVID because you couldn't go in studio, and there was no need for it. So I was like, damn. So I still did the stuff with CFRA with the radio, but I had to look elsewhere. Like, you know what I mean? I had to look for other opportunities, and to keep myself sane, and B, I need a creative outlet, and I always like working towards something. So I found, and you mentioned at the top, and I didn't follow up on it, Watch Mojo. So that's kind of an opportunity that I reached out with, and that led to a big deal because now I'm a full-timer with the folks at Watch Mojo.
Nice.
Yeah. Just a few weeks in, I'm a senior content editor. So I do a show with them, and I'm also helping with their production. So it's like really great because I love like Watch Mojo's pop culture, like top to bottom, and that's my life.
You're essentially my work's like competition because
I know you do. What is it? The
Inform Overload.
Inform Overload. Oh, there's room for lots. Come on.
There's so many pop culture like / like T channels. There's I always say that there's enough of the cake that everyone can get a slice. Like exactly. Views are views. Like you're not gonna just watch one channel. You're gonna watch like a million different things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Watch Mojo, they do the lists, right? The top 10 lists. You guys do more like newsy stuff.
I do story-based stuff, but the rest of the company, it does do the like kind of top 10 list thing.
Okay. Well, we do it better. Anyway.
How dare you, sir? I would argue.
Just joking. But yeah, no, so that's going on. But then the other stuff, my movie pop culture stuff has continued, but it's all from home now. So I still do that national channel at home. But yeah, no, I really had to search out and look for opportunities and find things to, to keep me sane.
Yeah, man.
In a crazy world.
I totally understand that. And like, I've been in that place before where it's like an opportunity comes up and then it kind of falls to the wayside. And it might have
had
been
a million of those.
Yeah. Right. Like you have to just kind of almost like take every single one of them and just, all right, what do we learn from this? And then move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You can't waste too much time just being like, oh, fuck. Or like if, and like, I wish that would have happened or whatever.
No, exactly. And you can waste so much time. And I've wasted time like sitting on like, not feeling sorry for yourself, but just kind of sulking a little bit,
Yeah.
But that doesn't do anybody any good.
Do you ever, because as a creative, because you've been doing like obviously like creative outlet related career stuff for a while. I know that for like many creative people, maybe even some people that are listening to this that are like kind of on that journey right now of like chasing that dream or whatever, there comes a time at a certain point where you put in a lot of time, those opportunities, they keep failing or they keep falling down. What do you kind of what's kept you in it when it looked like bleak? What stopped you from being like, I'm just gonna go work for the government? You know what I mean? Like you live in Ottawa.
Listen, I had to get the part-time job at the government. I had to get the part-time job at the telecommunications company because I had to make some money on the side.
You gotta feed yourself. Yeah.
When I wasn't getting any money from doing the stuff I love. But yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just I loved it. I couldn't not do it. You ever hear that? Like singers or like someone like an artist, you just can't not do it. That was like me. I couldn't. I'm sure my parents are so supportive, but I'm sure they would have just loved it if I said, okay, I'll do a 9-to-5 government job because it makes you secure. But I couldn't do it. And I'm glad I didn't. I kept knocking on doors, and it's crazy because if I look at my journey, that had I not, like, it was just so many things that added up to what I consider myself a success. And had I not done one thing or failed at one thing, it's crazy. Yeah. So just keep doing it. I would say just keep doing it. And like I said, look for outlets because hello, you're doing a show online. All you need is a camera and a microphone. You can do your show. You can do it. The internet's wonderful, right? You can do it.
Yeah. My thing was, I was stuck. I was like, I don't know. I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what that was. And I didn't want to like just try to keep hopping on like a trend of whatever, or like end up on TikTok doing dances or some shit.
I've never done. Have you done? Do you do TikTok? I don't do TikTok. First of all, I think I'm too old for TikTok.
I don't think that's true. There's lots. I feel like Will Smith is on TikTok.
I can't do those dances. That's so much time.
You don't gotta do the dances. TikTok. Here's my argument for TikTok. Okay, I feel the same way as you, where I open it and I get intimidated. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this app is. Like, it's just throwing me random stuff. If you even go into the upload part, there's so many like sections and features that they have with like uploading content. Like they have auto-generated captions. Like you don't even have to type out your own captions. They'll just do that for you. But the cool thing with TikTok is it's all like its algorithm is based on whatever you engage with. So if I'm only watching BMX videos, it's only going to feed me BMX videos.
Okay, gotcha.
So whatever you put out there, it's going to find an audience who only wants to engage with that type of content, be it like movie critic review stuff or your thoughts on like celebrities. It's going to feed it into that algorithm. And then you're going to get those fans from there. And I found the people on TikTok are like way more engaging. And because it's so random, I find the view counts are insanely higher. Like if I post,
They are, yeah. Watch Mojo, Watch
it's
Mojo has
nuts.
a TikTok, yeah, and their view
Yeah,
counts
it's smart to
are
do it.
huge, yeah.
Because if you look at it in comparison, like if you post a video to YouTube and it gets like 50 views, but then you post a clip of that, let's say hour video to TikTok, and then it gets 150 views. So it's like, well, then that's why aren't we just posting to this? You know what I mean? Like just keep stacking up those views.
Yeah. No, it's another outlet, and that's what I mean. Like,
yeah, we should be doing all of them.
Do stuff on TikTok, do stuff Instagram. I don't know. Instagram, that's another thing that's a lot of hard work. Like those, what do you call them? Influencer people?
Influencers.
It's so much work. It's not
influenza people.
Yeah, those influenzos.
That's the
no, I know someone. She's great, and I feel like, oh my god, that's so much. That has to be like
an
life.
exhausting life.
It is, yeah. I have to put my effort into like other stuff. So like,
yeah.
If I find a picture or something that's Instagram worthy, I'll throw it up. But they have like a whole week planned out, right? Like it's like 2 posts a day.
Like
yeah.
I don't know.
No, you see those influencers in the wild.
Yeah.
I seen those.
Say that earlier.
Yeah.
That's just too much. Did you hear this recent story about this woman, this like surviving Sophia thing?
No.
Oh my God. So there's this woman they believe that she's from Toronto, and she would sneak her way into different like big events, whether it was like a movie premiere, like TIFF, let's say, or she would sometimes fly to LA or go to New York City and try to get into these like big events. Mike Malak from Impulsive said that he like met her at the like Jake Paul fight. She said that she worked for Triller. She doesn't. She was just like lying to get into these like inner influencer circles.
Okay.
And she'd be very like, yeah, we're friends. And then when they'd ask her what she'd do, she's like, oh, I'm a LA publicist or whatever. She would just kind of lie, give some big title. But then they would like get phone calls from her being like, hey, I just got robbed. Like, I don't have any money. Can you wire me some money? And so these influencers thinking, this is my friend. She's a publicist in LA.
What?
They would just send her, a couple grand. Here you go. Get yourself a hotel here, fly home, whatever you need to do here. Take care of their friend, right?
What?
She ended up scamming like a bunch of influencers, I think out of like $11 million.
What?
Just running the same story with all of them.
And did she look the part? I feel like that's a huge part of it. Like she had to have looked the part.
She had to been she had to been, I would think she would have to be like kind of sweet in her demeanor, very like unassuming. Like we're friends, you know what I mean? Like, like non-threatening at all. So like I've seen photos and I'm like, yeah, I guess I would believe that she's a publicist. Like, I don't know. What does a publicist look like?
Yeah, I know. I talked to a lot of publicists, but like through the internet, and I have no idea what they look like. I always remember on Friends, Joey's publicist, it was Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh yeah.
So now I just picture myself, and I'm sure they're not. I'm sure
she was like chain smoking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I picture a chain smoking publicist. I'm sure they're very young and very hip, but no, that's not what I picture. But here's a fun story. Speaking of people thinking something you're not, I was at Just for Laughs in Montreal.
Nice.
And I was doing some interviews for the show that I did with Bell TV. But there's this industry award show that they do. And so I wasn't doing any press for it. I was just going to watch it. And so I had my blazer because I was doing interviews during the day. I just never took it off. And I guess I had a clipboard, and I guess I kind of looked whatever, but I was just going to watch this award show. Out comes Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live. You know Colin Jost?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Scarlett Johansson's husband.
Exactly. Yeah, that guy. So So I forget what happened. I think I just nodded at him because I was like, it's Colin Jost. Hi. Hey. And then he stopped looked me in the eyes and was like, "Oh, hey, I got to go, but are you going to that thing later on? Am I going to see you there?" And I was like, yeah, I'll see you there. And he's like, "All right, man, take it easy." He thought I was somebody else, or he thought I was somebody important, but I think it's just because I looked the part.
That's what happens. That's what
I
happens.
should have been like, yo, Colin, I got robbed. Can you, can you like spare me a bit of money? Yeah. So Colin Jost, but he probably didn't know who I was, and he probably walked away going, "Who the hell was that guy again?"
Yeah. They used to do a lot of those like celebrity red carpet interviews.
I love it.
What was your favorite like interaction that you had?
Oh, I love those, and I still want to do some if they ever happen again. I used to. It was only. Mostly in Canada. I would go in Toronto at the Canadian Screen Awards. It was a fun one because they would have all like the big Canadian celebrities, right?
Sure, yeah.
Which on the red carpet's a nightmare because they're not like American celebrities, which are pretty much household names, or at least their first name. I feel like
Jay Bear show.
Yeah, but I feel like most of them needed like a name tag because I was like, "Oh, I saw you." But those were always fun. But what they would do was they would bring American actors to those award shows too. Like Dave Chappelle showed up at one. Yeah. So I talked to him for like a 30-second little red carpet thing, but so cool, right? I did a bunch of those, and I did the first one. Was it the first one or second one? I think it was the second one. Joshua Jackson, Dawson's Creek. Pacey. Okay.
Pass my time, sir.
Oh, sorry. I've aged myself once again. I began a feud with him.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. He tried to get me kicked out.
What's his name? Joshua Blake?
Joshua Jackson.
Joshua Jackson. Why did I say Blake?
Because at the time I was doing this kind of shticky thing for my show where I was like, the famous guy, famous because I want to be, and like,
oh, this guy. Yeah.
So he was dating who was he dating at the time? Diane Kruger. Oh no, but I asked him about, I remember what happened now. So I asked him about because at this time Katie Holmes had just started dating Tom Cruise, and Katie Holmes and Joshua Jackson were on Dawson's Creek together. Yeah. So I, as kind of like this inside thing, I said, "What do you make of Joey," which was Katie Holmes's character, dating Tom Cruise? And then I guess this was a whole no thing. But I was legit in a feud, a celebrity feud with Joshua Jackson. So I don't know. Have you ever been in a celebrity feud? Yeah, he was actually. We actually had a.
No, come to think of it.
You've never pissed off a celebrity? No. So
I've never pissed off a celebrity. I've been pissed off at a celebrity.
Oh, okay. Like in person or just like the screen?
No, just like, so there was I wouldn't say pissed off. I was just sort of annoyed at the time, but like whatever at the end of the day. But I was listening to Wiz Khalifa on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I noticed that he was saying, yeah, yup, like a lot. Like an obscene amount of times. Yeah. And so yup. He would go, yeah, yup.
Yeah.
And he would have different tones. He would be like, yeah, yup. Yeah, yup. Like he was like the only thing he was saying. I was like, is he trolling Joe right now? Like, what's happening? And then so my creative brain just like kind of sparked and was like, I should cut together every time that he says it in this podcast.
Yes.
Count it and then be like, Wiz Khalifa says, yeah, yup, this many times. Like I had the whole video idea mapped up already. So I like rush home after work, do that, put it up. He ends up reposting it, Wiz Khalifa, onto his Instagram page, but no tag. So it was like useless. It was like, it didn't go anywhere. The video of mine that he reposted got a bunch of views and comments and whatever. But I was like, oh man, like just a tag, just a credit, like come on.
Oh yeah.
I was so bummed. I was like, oh. But I was like, whatever.
I met Joe Rogan. He's high. Have you ever met Joe Rogan?
No, I saw him perform at the Air Canada Center, Rogers Center, wherever they call it now.
He performed in Ottawa, a stand-up at the Bronson Center, and I went, my friend, and he was like, "Oh, afterwards, if you want to take a picture." And me and my friend were like, "Oh yeah, definitely." So we were just waiting in the lobby, and then he came out. I didn't really see him. He was behind me, and he's like, "Okay, everybody, well, I guess we'll start the line right here." And he points at me, so I was like, first in line. So I was like, "Hey." Yeah, no, he was a super nice guy, super chill, and like really appreciative of his fans. This was a while ago, maybe 2012. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he like, I don't know if he even does the meet and greets anymore, because he's doing like fucking arenas now.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no, the Bronson Center, for those that know, and I can't believe you do know, is not the biggest venue. So
I don't know the Bronson Center.
Have
I'm
you
new here though, Matt. I'm new here.
Oh yeah, you moved to Ottawa. Yeah.
Yeah. I left Toronto behind because I was like, I'm done with this.
Welcome to the hood. Have you met a celebrity? I want to stay on the celebrity stuff. I'm obsessed with this.
Met a celebrity.
Like, what's your? Because they're a strange bunch, I find, and everyone has different interactions depending on where you meet them or what they're doing or what the event.
Yeah. I guess it really depends, like, on what the whole thing. Like, so I'll give you two. So the first person that I was like really like, whoa, this is crazy, was Dylan Morin. This is like an Irish comedian. I don't know if you've ever seen him. Like, I went and saw him with a friend at Danforth Music Hall in Toronto, and then as we're coming out of the show, I think we like stopped in McDonald's or something, and we're coming back out, and he's just walking. He went to the bank or something after his own show, and he's just walking out. And we were both kind of just like, oh shit, there he is right there. Like, we just watched this, 90-minute show or whatever. And I was like, hey man, we love the show. And he kind of just was like dismissive at first. He was like, oh yeah, thanks. And then it kept going. And then we just, I don't know, we blurted out what, we're comedians. And like, just us saying that we were stand-up comics, he immediately turned back around, came right back over to us. And he was just asking us questions about ourselves, which I thought was like, I was like, oh, if I ever reach a point in my life where it's like a stupid amount of fame or whatever, I think that's the move, what this guy does, where he just, any question you ask about him, he just is like, gives you a short answer and then immediately directs it towards you, like wants you to be saying something. So I'm like, that's awesome. I mean, that's a cool way to be.
Yeah.
And then the other people that kind of like shook me a little bit was when I went to LA. I was in a Whole Foods just because there was a Starbucks in it near my Airbnb, and I'm standing in line at Starbucks, and I turn around and it's like Kyle and Chris Massey. You remember Kyle Massey from like That's So Raven?
Yeah.
And then with his brother from Zoe 101, and I was just like, this is my childhood, just standing in a line beside me.
Whole Foods, that's so random.
I like kind of slickly like pulled it up on my phone to just double check that it was them, because that's the most embarrassing thing, is if you went to like ask somebody. Yeah.
No, I've done it.
Have you done that? Who did you think was somebody else?
At the airport, I was in line. I think we were checking something in front of me. I swear to God, that's Danny Trejo. And I'm like, it was early in the morning. It was like a flight from Toronto to LA. I'm like, it has to be. But I couldn't really tell. He was very casual. So I pulled up on my phone, Danny Trejo, like Googly, and just as obviously it pulls up, he turns around, and I'm like, trying to hide the photos. But it was him. Yeah. People were taking photos with him and all that kind of stuff.
Oh
I did the Google. I trust my instincts. Danny Trejo. And then I hate flying, but I was like, Danny Trejo is on my flight. They're not going to crash this thing.
No, that thing's landed safely.
Any terrorists on this thing, Trejo will take care of them. I felt nice and calm. Yeah, I felt good.
So you're a movie critic, though. What's been your favorite movie of the last year of 2021? If you had to say, or let's give top three. Oh, top three. That's even. I usually put my best list at the end. They asked me to do it at the end of December, and as such, like I lose sleep over it. Yeah. Making this final decision.
I'm one of those people. It's like, scratches it. No, man. Let me think. Well, but first of all, I'm not a cinema snob. I'm not one of those like film critics that only loves like the art house.
Mm-hmm.
The ones, because right now we're in award season, so you're going to start seeing a lot of those. And they're great, by the way. Those dramas, but they're very heavy movies, right? So.
Why is that? Why do they go heavy on the dramas around this time?
Well, it's because award season is this time. So this is when they all come out. So they all kind of premiere at those film festivals. and then they get pick up distribution. But this is where they start doing the campaign. It's a campaign, is what I've learned, because I'm on the Critics' Choice Association, so I actually get to vote in an award show.
Look at
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. So, but I didn't really realize this, how much of a campaign it is. So I get all kinds of stuff in the mail, like, for your consideration. Here's the movie. Here's a candle, like all kinds of swag. No, I'm serious. Netflix sent me a candle.
Here's a Quentin Tarantino candle. It's
Netflix sent me a candle. Netflix sent me a sweater. Netflix sent me a blanket. A Netflix. Are you trying to date me?
Yeah,
Like, what?
yeah.
This is like
Netflix is trying to chill.
Netflix trying to chill with me. No, so it's such a campaign, and this is the time of year that it starts. Yeah.
That's it.
But I loved. Let me see. I really enjoyed Dune. Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Have you seen Dune?
No,
Dune.
but it's I know it's a remake.
It's a remake. Yeah.
So like those are usually like hard waters to tread into, right?
Except the first one was terrible.
Oh, okay, so it had a good starting block.
Well, I wouldn't say terrible. It was just, it's based on a book that's like,
it's dated,
it's based on this huge, thick, very sci-fi, a lot of sci-fi mumbo jumbo talk. So the first film was, they did the whole story, and it was very incoherent. This one, they chopping it into two, right? And the director, Denis Villeneuve, I love. He's visually just amazing. He did Arrival. He did Blade Runner 2049. He's Canadian, so I love me anything Denis Villeneuve. But yeah, the story was incredibly well told. The acting was great. The visuals were just, a chef's kiss. So that one to me is probably up there. I don't know, man. What have you seen anything amazing? Like, what's your?
I'm trying to think. I've been mostly on like TV series.
Oh, I love TV too. What's your TV? What's your binge?
Like Squid Game was the last thing that I just went through. Of course. I just went through Tiger King 2.
Yeah, me too.
Which was wild.
Not a lot of hype about season 2 as there was season 1. No.
Right? Season 2 felt more kind of like a wrap up. Like the bad guys got what they deserve. You know what I mean? Like,
but they're all,
which was all of them.
And they're all so insane. Oh my God, those people are insane.
That's such a wild story.
Yeah.
Like when they show Carol Baskin on Dancing with the Stars, it feels like an alternate reality. Like it feels like you're watching like a movie where they filmed this extra scene. Yeah, wouldn't it be crazy if this lady was on this like other reality show, and then they're just sitting there in the living room, like the family of her dead husband, like watching it. Like it was too. I was like, what?
No, I know what you mean, and I feel like ever since Trump became president and won that election, I feel like anything's possible now, because
I keep saying
I remember
Glitch
when
in Matrix.
Yeah. Now the floodgates are open. Now I'm not surprised. Now anything can happen, because when Trump won, when he was running, I was like, "There's no way." It was hilarious to watch, and it was so cringe, and it was so like, it was just like, it was entertainment. But in my mind, I was like, "There's no way that he would ever win." And then he like started doing the debates, and I was like, "Okay, America's
that was
not
a pretty good one."
America's not going to do it. Still entertaining, still fun to watch, right?
Dude, if you go back and watch those debates, they're honestly pretty funny. Now that he's like gone or whatever, it's honestly comedy.
It is.
These people do not know how to handle him. They had no training, no preparation. Handle a bully like him. Like he just bulldozed them over.
I was a huge fan of Donald Trump as an entertainer on The Apprentice, because I thought he was so ridiculous in those boardrooms and the things he said. He just had that persona, and he would do the puckered fight. Sometimes he did the Cobra, was my favorite. He's like, "Fight." But then he started just doing the point. I'm like, "No, stupid." But I actually had a year thing. I actually had a "You're Fired" T-shirt at one point, but I was such a fan of him on the show, but I never took him seriously. Right? I'm like, he must be good at business. I never saw him as president, but then he actually won the election, and then it just went. And then, like I said, the floodgates are open now. Anything can happen. When they say The Rock, Dwayne Johnson might run for president, and like, I'm like, sure, great, The Rock will be president. He'll
Yeah, let's just dive headfirst into Idiocracy.
We're gonna do it. You know, The Rock and Oprah will be his vice president.
People were saying Michelle Obama might pull up a run, so I think she could win.
Anything
easily.
can happen. Anything can happen now.
They literally told us that aliens were real, and we were like, yeah, okay, whatever. We knew that shit. Thanks. That's old news.
It's so true.
Like,
it's so true. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that for years, like my entire life, that was like a crazy conspiracy theory? That was like something you see in the movies. Like, we made that up. There's nothing else out there. And then the government is like, no, it's there.
Yeah.
We found it, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, I've seen some of those. There was a documentary, I think it was on Netflix. I was watching they released those tapes the government did, and it's like, yeah, what is that? Well, what's going on? Yeah,
but also at the same time, I'm kind of like, this is sus, because like we have, like, my phone can record in 4K. It's 2021, but every single piece of video that we have is like just a blur, like it was filmed on like a Nokia flip phone. I don't understand. So like, are they doing this to distract people? Is it real? Is it just technology from another country that they're like, I don't know how do we handle this? Just tell them it's aliens.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And yeah, technology is crazy now. Like, man, I don't even know.
Dude, yeah, you can run a show from your home now. You know how much, like,
and I do run a show from my home. It's crazy. Insanity. I think Tom Green did that before anybody. Remember, he had like a show.
He had his own show. Yeah.
In his house,
he had a whole room that was just like a server room.
Yeah, he's back. He's also back. You moved to Ottawa. Tom Green's back in Ottawa too.
Oh, no way. I knew he was on like a van trip or something. He was like doing like
You're right.
cross country. But I didn't realize he came back to Ottawa.
Yeah, he actually moved to Ottawa, and I think I think you're right. I think he did take that van, grew like a big beard.
Tom Green is strange enough that I bet if I asked him to be on the podcast, he'd be like, how many viewers? 20? Yeah, sure, I'll do it.
He's great. Yeah, he's another guy that I met and is like really.
He seems super nice. Yeah.
And maybe it's because I like, especially if you're from Ottawa or like surrounding areas, he's like really gravitates to that. Yeah.
That's good to know, Matt.
Yeah.
We're like setting up future guests now on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, don't tell him I sent.
Hey, look, Matt said I could reach out. I don't know.
You'd be like, who?
Who the fuck?
I saw him in a green room at CTV. He did the morning show one day, and I did the morning show. That morning. So you know those morning shows I'm talking about, like those. Okay, so
explain it.
So there's
what time you get on? What time you got to get up for this morning?
Well, those shows, by the way, run from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. Okay?
Oof.
And if you ever seen, it's like, recap of the news. It's very sunny, very happy. They're starting your day off on a good foot. But the what I'm getting at is the variety of guests is so eclectic. So when I go on to talk about movies or shows or something, I never know who else will be on the show that day. Sometimes it's like, I remember one time I was going over my notes and I heard like bagpipes. It was like freaking so loud. It's the guy who's going on the show to do a bagpipe thing. And they'll have like,
how do they do this selection process?
It's insane. So there was like these girls that were doing like a little cheer thing on the show. And there was like the new Ottawa Red Black CFL quarterback was on, me, Tom Green. It's like so
I'd like to talk to you guys about head injuries.
Yeah. It's insane how varied those guests are, but it's interesting to say the least.
They're like, this is Reptile Rick. He's going to be.
Oh, they have those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, they have the animal people on. Yeah, man.
No doubt.
Morning TV.
No doubt. Any morning TV is amazing. Guarantee that they're going to be bringing like just a basket full of puppies or something.
Yeah.
We're just going to play with these puppies while we give you the news.
Trying to get them adopted. Oh, yeah, man. That's morning TV for you.
A little telethon going on.
Yeah. Have you done a TV gig?
Have I done a TV
like
gig?
A news or morning show or thing like that? No.
I've done like radio, but I've never done like network television.
Yeah. Just because that's a little.
Yeah.
It's a little
I've done
stressful.
like I could tell. Like I've watched it plenty of times, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to do that
because it's live.
yeah.
And you've got this little mic pack, and you're sitting there, and like, yeah, anything can happen live.
I mean, I do like when I do radio that goes out live.
That's true.
So
It's
yeah. Because I would go in for because Dave Mers from 96.7 Yes FM, which is just over in Ogdensburg, that would reach out towards like the kind of Brockville area where I'm from.
Yeah.
And so I just reached out to him literally over Facebook and was like, hey, I'm running this comedy show. Can I come on your show and promote? Like, just reach out to him. He's like, yeah, sure. So I came on, I think at like 8:00 in the morning, and did his like morning game thing that he usually does with his audience, where they have to guess an answer to this question this quiz or something. And we just kind of bantered back and forth. I promoted the show and then just cut to music, whatever, take phone calls with people coming in. It was fun.
Nice. Yeah. No, totally. And see, that's what I'm talking about. You're like, you seized that moment. You called him. You reached out. You got that opportunity. Yeah, man. That's exactly what I was talking about at the beginning.
Yeah, man. I remember those hungry days when I would just like my buddy and I, big dreamers here. He had a script for a movie, and I read the script and I was like, this is really good, but like you're gonna need like extras for like a lot of these scenes, right? You can't just do everything like close up. And we're probably like 23 or something when we're like going through all this. And I was like, why don't we start a background like company to recruit people that want to just volunteer to be in the movie, but we'll make this company so that we can get people to be background extras in your movie. And I was like, cool, now that we've made this like Facebook page with the company, let's promote it. So then I literally just reached out to every single local like radio station and sent a message being like, hey, like I am the owner of this casting company. We're shooting a movie. Like, I'm not lying, but I'm making myself sound bigger than I am. And it just opened so many doors. People were just like, yeah, sure, come on up. They're like, come in. There's nobody here. We don't talk to anybody.
So your friend was like actually making this movie?
He was like, oh, I'd really like to make this movie. That's where it was. Like he didn't cast any of the people.
No, but does he have like equipment
people
to make?
He had all the equipment, so he had like, you know what I mean? Like he had the camera equipment and he had all that stuff. And he was like, yeah, we could shoot this like independent movie. But I was just thinking, I'm like, you need to cast these roles though. You've got all these people that you've written into this movie. You don't have anybody to play them.
Yeah.
So
and where can we watch this movie?
Oh, it didn't go anywhere. That was my point. That was my point. Sometimes these things fail, but here's the thing: is it opened up so many doors because I was like trying to force that opportunity to happen. I was like, I would love to be on the radio, so let's just reach out and ask for it. And now that I have a reason to ask for it, maybe they'll consider it. And now it's just a friendship, you know.
And it's so satisfying when you get like 100 no's, but you get that one yes. It's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. No, that's what you got to do.
There were so many times where it was just like read and then just left. I was like, whatever.
Oh, you put a red receipt? I never put red receipts on those.
No, it just pops up. Like if it was like Facebook Messenger or something, you know, just show that they've read it. Yeah. I was literally doing that. I was going through Facebook Messenger. That was a long time ago. Even when I wanted to be an actor, I was like reaching out to different celebrities on Facebook even and asking for advice.
Did anyone write back?
Yeah. What's his name? Dan Levy wrote back a long thought out response, which was cool.
Really?
And then I actually ended up doing background acting on Schitt's Creek like 4 or 5 years later, and like met him and was like, hey, like, you remember this message? He was like, oh shit, like full circle.
That's crazy,
man. Then there was another, who was the guy from Entourage?
Oh, Adrian
Grenier.
Yeah, he seems like a down-to-earth guy.
He responded, I think he just said, have fun, the business is politics. Or he said, be yourself, the business is politics. That's what he said.
Oh, okay.
That was his advice. So I was like, oh, yeah, all right, cool.
That's something.
That's good.
So what is your goal now? Like, are you still looking to do acting, or weren't you hip hop rapping?
I'm still doing that. So I'm still like, I have I have this like plan to finish this album that I've been working on, but I need to like mix my vocals more, and I need to like record a few more songs before it's an actually complete album. But yeah, that's just like my plan for right now. That's what I've been working on, is finishing that, and then keep doing my YouTube stuff during the day. And then I've started this podcast to keep me sane as well.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think you set a good example for other people to follow. Yeah.
I just like, I can't do one thing. I find it like I need to be like hitting all these different like avenues of what brings me joy.
I used to be notorious for taking on like way too much. I've narrowed it down. So now I'm doing, Watch Mojo is a whole thing. So I'm focusing a lot of energy on that. And of course the movie stuff. And then I'll still do like a little bit of pop culture commentary, but that's kind of it. Right. So
as long as you have like a schedule and routine, like I've tried to start a podcast a million times. I've had so many podcasts. It's insane. It should be, I think you should get capped off at a certain point. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you've made 10 podcasts, the internet's like, no more podcasts, dude. Go do something else. You've made 10, none of them.
What's the beauty of a podcast? You can just do it.
Yeah, right. But I was like, no, this time I'm going to set out like a routine. So I was like, I'll record on these days and I'll upload on these days. And then I do no more, no less. That's just the work. That's what I do for this channel. Because I have all this other stuff that needs to occupy my time as well, right?
Yeah. No, I'm really good at time management. I was like, I have like,
it's definitely a learning
I have a checklist. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You're your own boss, essentially. You know what I mean? Unless you're under contract for somebody at like the radio station, but like you are in charge of your schedule and managing your priorities, right?
Yeah. And I surprised myself about how much I could do in a day. Like maybe like 10 years ago, I would think like, oh, I couldn't do this, or you know what I mean? Now, once you like do it and you're like, I can do this, then you just, okay, I can do it.
It's weird. It's like it just becomes like a relaxed state, even though it's more work than what you were able to handle like just a few years ago.
That you think you can handle. That's the problem. I thought I couldn't do anymore, but then it's like, oh, I could do that.
You just push yourself to do it. I think it's like, I keep saying this on so many podcasts, but I think it's like if you have a bit of an obsession with something, it makes the time fly a lot more. So it makes it like stress relief, right? Like if you're obsessed with writing about, you know, the latest movie or whatever, that hour that it takes to write that is gonna be done in no time.
Yeah, no, exactly. 100%. And it doesn't really feel like work, right? It's
yeah.
That's the other.
It's a joke, man. Like we get paid to talk. I keep having to remind myself that.
Yeah, I know. Today I was like, what was I working on? The top movie villains of all time, and I was like, researching
so cool.
the Jokers. I'm like, oh yeah, this is my job.
Yeah. You're like, oh cool. I don't have to, put salt on the fries or clean a toilet or.
I never. What was your earliest jobs? I did. I loved my earliest job, which was working at a movie theater.
Nice. Do you have to scrape gum off the bottom of the seats?
No, I was a supervisor. I was actually, the guy that did back in the day, threaded a projector. Now it's all digital.
No.
Okay. Well, back in the day,
a projector. Damn.
Yeah. Not for very long. And by the way, I hated doing that, by the way, but I learned how to do it. But yeah, no, I worked on the ground with the people. I was a supervisor. I loved it. It was a multiplex, right? So it was a big cinema.
Okay.
Very busy. Yeah. It's just to pay. I mean, you can't make a living with that.
Yeah. I remember the multiplex forever.
No, and I remember learning about even the managers, like the higher up managers, they weren't getting paid that much. It's like, really? It's too bad because that was such a fun job.
So you've always had an obsession with movies then?
Yeah, man. Yeah, the movies were so special. I grew up in a very small town, where there was no movie theaters around me. So to watch a movie, it was like half an hour, 40-minute drive.
Yeah. I remember that.
And I would go maybe twice a year, but it was such a big deal, right? You go for your birthday, or you go with my grandparents during the summer or something.
A drive-in? But those movies, drive-in when you were a kid though?
I never did drive-in.
You didn't do that? Oh my god.
No, not as a kid. Yeah. I've done it
recently
as an adult, and I really enjoy it. Yeah. But yeah, no, the movies were always such a special experience. So yeah. But now I gotta watch them all.
Yeah.
Some of them
I gotta watch them all.
I do. People are like, it's so great. But I was watching the movie Clifford alone the other day. Do you know what I'm talking about? The big red dog? Me alone. And I was surrounded by kids in like it was a cinema / jungle room. No, I'm serious. This was like they have a cinema now that
No.
has like a slide, and then
What?
kids can play before the movie. There's a slide. You're in kind of like these beanbag type
Oh
chairs.
my God.
And I'm in there, me, grown ass man,
Yeah.
alone, because I have to review this
Notepad.
movie. No notepad.
Lamp pad, like lamp light on your head.
So
you can see in the dark.
and like kids around me. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? This is
Yeah.
And then the movie starts, of course, and then I'm like, oh wow, this is worse than I thought.
Dude, I sat through when I worked on Top 10 Nerd, I sat through that first Aquaman movie. I don't know, I did not like it whatsoever, but I had to look for Easter eggs throughout the whole movie. So I'm just like writing stuff down on a notepad in the dark the whole time, and like not really enjoying the movie. Just kind of like, is that something? Like, oh man.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I like all kinds of movies, but some of the kids' movies, it's hard. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch.
Yeah,
And
I
keep
couldn't
trying to put
imagine
myself.
that Clifford movie was very
No, it's terrible. And
moving.
what? And like, what's the deal with like, because
What
he's a
was your
big
favorite part?
Well, you know the story, right? He's a big dog.
He's a huge dog. Yeah.
And so this is a live action.
So every scene is like, he can't fit. Oh no.
Well, that's the thing. He can fit. No,
he
fit through the doors. He fit in a van. I'm like, how?
They make him special privileges for Clifford.
They didn't explain it. He just walked through. I'm like, how tall are these ceilings? Like, what's going on? There should be so much damage. And like the CGI was terrible, and he looked like he was soaked in blood. The red was like,
it was like a weird red, eh?
It was like a red velvety, not good. So yeah,
not good.
I gave it a very bad review, and I'm sorry that I turned into Jerry Seinfeld there with my feeling. What's going on?
What do you want? I don't get it. He's a dog. He's big. He's red.
I watch Seinfeld reruns every night.
Every night.
It's like 1:30 in the morning.
You know, they got it on Netflix now, eh?
I know. And I just watch it. I just watch the reruns, or I've seen it on my Netflix queue and be like, oh,
such a good show, man. It's such a brilliant show.
Never gets old. It never gets old.
Never. No. I think that was like some of my first exposure even to like what stand-up was, because I was, as a kid, I didn't watch Seinfeld because I didn't really understand what was happening, but it was always on, I think, before The Simpsons. So I would always catch Jerry's like little bit of stand-up set right at the end of the show before it would transition into like the next show that you're watching. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. But like not even thinking, I'm like, oh, this is Jerry Seinfeld I'm watching. Like,
are you still doing stand-up? I can't imagine doing stand-up now in like this day and age.
No. Like, so I wanted to, comedy's in a weird place. But I became so obsessed with music at the start of the pandemic that I had to like kind of switch my brain from like writing jokes to writing music. Similar beats, surprisingly, to like when you're writing lyrics or whatever. If you're trying to write in like something funny or writing like a tag or like, this sounds like this, and then you're rhyming it together. There's fun stuff I realized that you can be funny in the songs with like the ways that you're describing things. But like I was just I don't know, I saw the landscape of stand-up and I was like, all of the people who are big before the pandemic, who were like, they had JFL credits and they were already like, doing the clubs every weekend, those are going to be the guys that get all, guys and girls that are going to get all the spots first, most likely, because the club owners are going to want to make their money back from the time that they've lost. So they're going to need to bring in these performers, and then the two kind of feed each other. And then the people like me who were like, I was just getting there right before the pandemic. Like I went to the US and I performed in Chicago and then in LA as well. And then fucking COVID hit like right after.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn it. I just felt like I was getting somewhere, and I was doing spots in Toronto. But I'm like, let me finish this album and then switch back to this comedy brain and see what the scene is like in Ottawa. That was like the other reason too of moving here. It's just like a new fresh scene as well.
Yeah, Ottawa comedy scene I think is good.
Yeah, no, I went to an Absolute show and I was like, this is great. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I know some people doing it in Ottawa. I think it's going good. But no, I meant more so to the content you can talk about. Right, with like today's culture. I feel like comedy is so like, oh man, you're afraid to like go there. Can I talk about this?
I don't even worry about any of that anymore. It's like I don't care. Like, especially with comedy, is I think as long as it's funny, and then that's kind of can be your justification. Like, it's the same thing when people get upset over whatever something somebody says in a video. Is like, just click off of it, just go something else. If somebody's on stage telling a joke that you don't like, that just means it's not for you. It doesn't mean that like that person needs to stop saying that thing.
No, I get that.
That's just not for 100%. You. So go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's
always bad when someone records somebody on stage at a comedy club telling a joke and then posted like, can't believe they said this. I'm like, what?
And it's like there's no context.
It's not for the people on the internet. It's for the.
Do you hear the other people laughing in the video? Like it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I hate that. I hate that.
But like at least they're coming up with ways like I think Dave Chappelle and a bunch of other comics have used those like yonder bags where people put their cell phones like in the bags before they go into the show.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. There's been a few shows like that where you have to put your phone into this bag and then it locks, and you can keep it with you. So if you feel it like vibrating or something, like let's say you have a babysitter or whatever, and you're at the show, if you feel it vibrating though, you have to leave the theater, go outside, they unlock it, and then you can get your phone out.
No way. Okay.
But you can't open it in the theater.
That's so much safer. I had to do this for movies because I do movie premieres where it's like Warner Brothers is big with this. Like, give us your phones. Give us your phones. They won't let you in with your phone. So, but what they have, it's a paper bag, and they put it in a paper, like a lunch bag. They put it in, they staple it with a ticket, and they give you a ticket, and then they put the paper bag with your phone in it in a box, and you go in, and you're like, "Where's my phone?"
That's so sketchy.
I know, but that's the way it happens. That's the way it happens. Yeah. So
no, I'd be like, yo, get yonder bags.
I've never heard of yonder bags. I'm used to these paper lunch
paper
bags.
Bag and a ticket. That's crazy.
And I'm always amazed when they have it at the end. When I get out and get my phone, I'm like, they take out the paper bag. I'm like, wow, that works. Yeah.
You're like amazing honor system you guys have here.
Yeah.
There's just thousands of dollars worth of smartphones sitting off to the side.
But is anyone recording phones or movies now on their phone? No,
I feel I don't know.
It's all ripped from screeners and piracy. Like no one's actually watching bootleg. I don't know.
See, I always thought that people were like, because you would see some of those bootleg movies
back in the day.
Back in the day, right? Like you remember watching it, and then you'd see someone get up in front of the camera. It was the funniest shit ever.
I bought a couple in New York. In New York City, I went. Forget when it was, but yeah, I bought a bunch from a guy on the street who was selling these movies. I'm like, oh wow, this is still in theaters. I bought them. And of course, that's exactly what it is. Boot, and you'd see the person or coughing.
Yeah. You just hear what? People talking. You're like, what the fuck? I can't hear the movie. It's this weird echoing sound, but you just want the movie so bad. You're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
What was the other? There was something I was gonna say about that though. Oh yeah, the one time that I realized I was like, oh, this is evolving is when somebody ripped the like X-Men. There was like a new X-Men movie and somebody leaked a copy of it before it had been CGI'd. So you were watching. Yeah, there was like a leaked copy where there was like parts missing and like the sky wasn't there and whatever. Like I was like, oh, this shit's evolving.
Yeah. Now it's bad. Even with the new Spider-Man, they had a problem. Like someone leaked the trailer.
No.
Yeah.
Was it Tom Holland?
No, it was like a grainy, you could barely see it. But then the next day they put out the official trailer because they don't want you watching this crap trailer.
Yeah, of course. They don't want that to be the representation of the movie when you go to see it. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. People just want to know now. They want to see it now. It's such a now culture, but
yeah.
Have a bit of patience.
Yeah, all you gotta have is patience. We started this on the word opportunity, but did we find like what was the Is there a better way that you want to describe that, or you want to stick with opportunity?
Let's do Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem?
Yeah,
DM, like DM?
How do you spell it? C-A-R, it's
C-A-R-P-E-D-I-E-M?
Yeah, it's a term. I'm not making this up. It means seize the moment. Hold on.
I know.
Carpe Diem. Used to urge someone to make the most of the present time and give little thought to the future. Oh, so it means, okay, so seize the moment, but don't really think too much about the future. Okay, let's go with that. Technically 2 words, seize the day. But yeah, let's do that.
Do Carpe Diem.
Am I allowed 2 words? Am I
that's
disqualified?
Fine. No, that's fine. I just like what the one word is interesting to me because I find it like it's very difficult to put something into one word, like especially if it's something that's been on your mind a lot lately. You're like, so kind of just like forcing that is always fun to watch people try to come up with.
I have a million things on my mind. Like I literally go to bed and I think about the movies I watched, or like
you're like, what do I gotta do tomorrow? Just clicking through all that stuff.
Yeah, my mind doesn't shut off. It's crazy.
I'll share your socials here for everybody watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give Matt a follow on Instagram, Mr. Hollywood MD.
That's right. I'm not a doctor.
And not a doctor.
It's Matt Demers. I am an MD. Yeah.
And also Mr. Hollywood MD as well on Twitter. Any other things you want to shout out, man?
No, that's good. Oh, the movie review. I should mention the movie review site. I always link to it on those socials, but it's theflamingthumb.com. That's where
theflamingthumb.com.
Yeah. That's where I do my movie reviews. I came up with this. Because when I was on the radio, they're like, "How do you want to do it? Is it out at stars? Is it a thumbs up, thumbs down?" And I put some thought into it, and I was like, "Well, I'll give it 10. Could be a total of 10 flaming thumbs." That's what I came up with. So it's
I like it.
Theflamingthumb.com. Yeah.
I like the exploding. Yeah, these are really funny graphics. You should try to sell like one of these as like NFTs, the different thumbs.
Anything over 8 will explode, and anything 4 and under is a frozen thumb.
It's a frozen thumb. Clifford,
yeah, so it's not flaming at all. It's like frozen. Like it's a Clifford. There you go. What did I tell you?
It did not do well.
Yeah.
There you go. Not watch Clifford the Big Red Dog. That's what we're going to take away from this.
If you take nothing away from this chat, just don't watch Clifford.
Don't watch Clifford.
That's what this was.
Matt, thank you so much for joining me on episode number 9 to talk about Carpe Diem. If you're watching at home, don't forget to drop a comment down below with your favorite part from the podcast. Reach out to Matt, say hello, tell him you enjoyed the podcast. If you're listening, give him a follow. But until next time, everybody, stay classy. You've been listening to The Johnny Rogers Show. New episodes air every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.